Welcome to Old Coins Explorer, the ultimate channel for coin lovers, collectors, and history buffs. Here, we dive into the stories behind the coins that jingle in our pockets and the rare treasures hidden in old drawers. If you're into vintage currency, rare finds, or just love the thrill of discovery, you're in the right place. So hit that subscribe button, because today we're exploring the fascinating world of the Canadian 5-cent coin. Ever held a tiny coin in your hand and wondered how much history and value it carries? The Canadian 5-cent coin might seem small, but this little guy has an incredible story to tell. From its early days of silver shine to the iconic beaver design we see today, it's a journey through time, tradition, and transformation. So, let's dive into the amazing world of the Canadian nickel, the unsung hero of pocket change. Back in 1858, the very first 5-cent coin made its debut in Canadian pockets. But it wasn't the nickel you're picturing today. Oh no, it was tiny, shiny, and made entirely of silver. In fact, these coins were so small, people nicknamed them fish scales because of their lightweight, delicate feel. Imagine carrying a handful of those and worrying you'd lose them in the seams of your jacket. Canada, being part of the British Empire at the time, borrowed a lot from British coinage systems. The early coins featured Queen Victoria's portrait. Her serene royal face was the first monarch to grace Canada's 5-cent piece. These silver nickels were minted all the way until 1921, and some of those years became especially rare and collectible. In fact, the 1921 5-cent coin is one of the most legendary rarities in Canadian numismatics. More on that in a bit. Let's talk materials. You see, silver was once a metal of choice for coins, but with rising metal costs and a growing economy, it was time for change, literally. In 1922, the silver 5-cent coin was discontinued, and a new version was made from nickel. This gave birth to the nickname nickel for the 5-cent coin, a name that stuck, even when its metal content changed again later on. The switch to nickel also meant a bigger, bolder coin, something that felt more substantial in your hand. Here's where things get wild. During World War II, Canada had to rethink its coinage again. Nickel was a critical material for making weapons and military equipment. So the government decided to produce coins using tombac, a type of brass-like alloy, instead of real nickel. And in 1943, they switched to chrome-plated steel. These changes weren't just practical, they made the coins look totally different. Some even had a V designed for victory, and a torch symbol to inspire hope and strength during wartime. These wartime nickels are super popular with collectors today. Let's take a moment to appreciate the design of the modern 5-cent coin. Since 1937, the most iconic version features a beaver perched on a rock, designed by Canadian artist G. Kruger Gray. Why a beaver? It's not random. The beaver is one of Canada's national symbols. Known for being hardworking and resourceful, the beaver represents the pioneering spirit of the nation. It's also a nod to Canada's early fur trade economy, where beaver pelts were incredibly valuable. On the reverse side, of course, is the monarch's effigy, which has changed over time as different rulers took the throne. We've seen the faces of King George V, George VI, and of course, Queen Elizabeth II. Her portrait has been updated several times over the decades, reflecting her aging gracefully on the coins that bear her image. But it's not just about looks. Let's talk about scarcity. Certain years of the Canadian nickel are highly sought after by collectors. The aforementioned 1921 silver 5-cent coin, only a few are known to exist because most were melted down after the metal switch in 1922. That coin has been known to fetch over $100,000 at auctions. Just imagine finding one of those in an old cookie tin in your grandma's attic. Then there's a 1944 tombac coin, less rare but still collectible. And don't forget the wartime V nickels from 1943 and 1945. Even post-war coins from the 1950s and 60s can have value depending on condition, minting errors, and other factors. Speaking of errors, some of the most valuable Canadian nickels are those with minting mistakes. These include double strikes, off-center strikes, or coins with missing design elements. Collectors go crazy for these because they're essentially one of a kind. If you ever come across a weird-looking nickel, don't spend it, get it checked out. It might just be your lucky break. The Canadian 5-cent coin isn't just a piece of metal. It's a slice of history. Over the decades, it has evolved to reflect the nation's values, struggles, and artistic heritage. From silver to steel, war to peace, monarchy to modernity, this coin tells Canada's story like no other. Now, let's touch on something super cool, the environmental side. In more recent years, Canada has taken steps to make its coins more eco-friendly. Today's nickels are mostly steel with a layer of nickel plating. Why? It's cheaper, more sustainable, and just as durable. These modern coins are produced by the Royal Canadian Mint, which is known for innovation and quality. In fact, Canada was one of the first countries to introduce colored coins and advanced anti-counterfeiting features. And how about coin collecting? Are you into that? Because the Canadian 5-cent coin is a dream for hobbyists. With so many variations, designs, and rarities, there's always something new to discover. People collect them by year, by monarch, by material, even by mint marks. It's a hobby that blends history, art, and a little bit of treasure hunting. Let's not forget how the coin has shown up in pop culture too. From coin magic tricks to being part of songs, or even used in school science experiments, magnetism, anyone? The humble nickel has made its mark. Think about how many times you've walked past a coin on the ground. Most of us don't give small change a second thought. But the next time you see a Canadian 5-cent coin, pick it up, look closely, feel the weight of it. You're holding more than just 5 cents. You're holding over 160 years of Canadian heritage. That's just the beginning of this nickel's journey. Ready to dive deeper into the rarest years, the most valuable additions, and wild coin collecting stories that'll blow your mind? All right, let's fast forward to present day and talk about the Canadian 5-cent coin in our modern world. After going through silver, nickel, tomback, and steel, the coin we see today is a product of years of innovation. Modern Canadian nickels are made from steel, coated with layers of nickel and sometimes copper. The main reasons? Cost efficiency, sustainability, and durability. These coins are magnetic, thanks to the steel core, which actually makes sorting and handling easier for businesses and banks. Plus, it helps vending machines and coin counters easily detect and process them. Pretty smart, right? Now let's talk value. While the face value of a Canadian 5-cent coin is obviously 5 cents, that doesn't mean every nickel is only worth a nickel. The collector's world adds a whole new layer of value. A well-preserved nickel from a rare year, or one with a unique minting error, can fetch anywhere from a few dollars to tens of thousands. Let's look at some examples that will blow your mind. Take the 1921 5-cent coin, nicknamed the King of Canadian Coins. Only about 400 are believed to have survived after most were melted down. If you're lucky enough to find one, you're potentially sitting on a 6-figure treasure. Even more recent coins can be valuable too. A 1964 nickel with a shoulder fold error? It can fetch hundreds. A 2000p nickel, the first Canadian coin struck with a P for plated, was only released in sets, and even that carries collector interest. Now, let's go international for a minute. Did you know that the Canadian 5-cent coin is often sought after outside Canada too? Especially among North American collectors who want complete full North American sets, including U.S. and Canadian coinage. The international market gives these coins another level of desirability. And it's not just about age or rarity. Condition is huge. A coin that's been in circulation with scratches and where it might be worth its face value. But a coin that's in mint condition, especially if it's never been circulated, is a whole different story. That's why coin grading services exist, to professionally assess and certify a coin's condition. Another factor is historical context. Wartime nickels, especially those with a Victory V and torch design, carry not just monetary value, but also emotional and cultural significance. Owning one is like holding a piece of Canadian resilience and pride. Let's shift gears and talk about the Royal Canadian Mint, the powerhouse behind these coins. These folks are famous for their precision, creativity, and even risk-taking. They're always experimenting with new alloys, anti-counterfeit tech, and beautiful commemorative designs. The Mint has released special editions of the 5-cent coin over the years, like the 2005 Victory nickel that paid tribute to the original World War II design, or the Wildlife series that put a modern twist on classic Canadian animals. Then there are collector sets, With 5-cent coin is featured alongside other denominations, often in proof or specimen quality. These sets are meticulously crafted, come with certificates of authenticity, and are packaged beautifully. They make great gifts and are a staple for any serious collector.